Hey everyone, I am Dylan Estes. I'm a content creator here at Plaid, and we're coming to you a little later in the afternoon than we usually do for Craft Break, but we just wanted to get on with you and show you all about gallery glass, and particularly some fall gallery glass designs that we want to show you. So I'm going to walk you through some basic gallery glass steps and principles, and then I'm going to show you how to craft one of these really cute little pumpkins. We've got Emma here in the chat, so if you have any questions, let her know and she'll relay those to us. And yeah, I think we're ready to get started. So today what I'm going to be showing you how to do is make a cute little gallery glass sun catcher, a little window hanger that is from our great little free online printable collection. So with gallery glass, you may or may not know, it's a two-step process where you do your leading first and then you color it in with your transparent gallery glass paint. So what we've done for you is, we can go overhead now. We have created these patterns. So the gallery glass line is full of a lot of really beautiful premium patterns, but we also have some beginner-friendly patterns online. You can just go to plaidonline.com/galleryglass and you'll find these patterns. And they're very simple, and we even show you how to color them. So if I'd printed this out in color, you would actually have seen the colors in these little swatches, but we try to guide you step by step how to do your gallery glass. So to do this project, you're going to need your pattern, which again, you can go to plaidonline.com/galleryglass. You'll grab a pattern. Then you'll also need a bottle of leading. So this is our liquid leading. This is in the black color. We have a few different colors. We have some metallic colors for you to choose from as well. And then we have 3 different colors of gallery glass paint. So we've got green shimmer, which is a beautiful iridescent glitter formula. We've got pumpkin orange, which is this great dark orange color. And then we have Kelly green. So those are the 3 colors and the leading that we're going to be using today. We're also going to be using a surface. So there's lots of different surfaces that we offer in the gallery glass line. We have ovals, we have circles, and they are all different sizes. So we have large ones, we have small ones, and they come in different packs. The larger ones comes in a single pack, and these come with a great little hanger. So you can see this one right here. We've got the little chain hanger there, which is really, really useful, because you can just, as soon as you're done with your project, hang it right up on your window. And then the smaller ones come in a 3-pack. These are the little circles, and we also have ovals. So here's an example of the oval versus the circle. So these you can just take little suction cups with hooks and hang those right in your window. Okay, so those are the surfaces we're working with today. And then I also wanted to just give you a general look at gallery glass, kind of a bird's eye view. We have this great printable. This is a nice kind of meaty little packet that we have for you with patterns and really easy how-tos. One of them here is all about making a tape tip for your leading bottle. So I love to use this 8-ounce leading bottle. We also sell it in the 2-ounce. That's the same size as these little guys. But I love to use the 8-ounce, because it gets you through a lot of projects, but it also is really helpful to have this bigger tip. It's called a Yorker tip on top of here, and if you were to buy it out of the store, you can absolutely use it right out of the bottle. But today, what I'm going to do is show you how to make this little tape tip. And I actually forgot my tape, Emma, if you would grab that. But I'm going to show you how to make this tip. It's really simple. You take the bottle and then you just wrap some tape right around it. But before we get started with that, I want to go over this guide a little more. Gallery glass is a 2-step process where you lead your design, allow that to dry, then you go back and fill it in with your color. So we have detailed that process on every single page here. We've got so many different tips and tricks and techniques. And again, this is completely free and downloadable on our website. We have a lot of videos linked in there as well. And there's tons of resources for you to learn how to do gallery glass. We've seen it trending a lot on social media of people doing it on their home windows for privacy or for all kinds of different colored effects. And if you don't know, getting started, it can be a little bit challenging and it can be a little intimidating, but it's actually a really easy process. So let me show you how we go about doing that. I'm going to start with the tape tip. So what we're going to need is our blank surface. We're going to grab our pattern. I'm going to lay that right over that. And then this is a tape tip I actually made this morning. So I'm just going to take this off and show you just how easy it is. Usually what we do is recommend doing one tip per project because your tape tips will get dried out. So you can do your project, make your tape tip, and then when you're ready to make another project, you can do a brand new one. And that's the great thing about the tape. It comes off, it's easy to clean up, and you're ready to make another one. Okay. I'm just going to clean my tip off. And then this is super simple. All you're going to do is grab a piece of tape, and usually there's some little markings and indicators on there for you to get the right size piece. And we're just going to place it on, bring this up. We're going to place it right there, and then you're just going to twist the tape. And you're going to see it kind of naturally just forms this little cone shape. And it gives you a really, really fine tip to come out of the bottle. And you might be wondering why we would make a bottle that you would have to put a tape tip onto. And the answer is you don't have to do this, but this is kind of the only way we've found and the best way we've found to get this really fine tip effect. So that's why we do it, and that's why this tip works really well with the tape tip. This larger Yorker tip is perfect for this. Okay, so basics of leading. I like to kind of shake my bottle down. Generally with gallery glass paints, you don't want to shake them back and forth because you don't want any air bubbles in there, or you want as few air bubbles as possible. But I like to just kind of give it a few little thrusts down just to get the remaining lead down into the bottom of the bottle. And then you see it kind of push through. Emma, if you'll zoom in a little bit. And then, perfect, thank you. And then you see I've got my pattern here. I'm going to tape my pattern down. I'm going to tape my surface to my pattern. You just line this up. Now you might be wondering why these look a little bit different, and it's because we've just done the same pattern, but we just didn't put our face on it. So you can kind of change these patterns up to whatever suits your need. And then what we're going to do is, top step I have for doing leading is to move your project. So if you're able to and you have a big enough space and a small enough project, I highly recommend moving your project around. It's kind of like painting, our painters here that teach painting classes will always recommend that you move your project around to get the right angle. So I'm going to turn this around. I've got lead all the way down in my tip. I'm going to test it on a piece of paper here, make sure it's coming out. And you see how thin that line is. So that's exactly what we're looking for. And then it's as simple as tracing with the leading. And the leading's really satisfying because it's got a great viscosity to it. And you kind of want to drape it, and that means we've got a little bit of leading up in the air. It's almost like if you were to take a piece of string and have it stretched out, your tip is up here, but the string is touching the paper down here. So you kind of want to have a nice little curve. You don't want to have your tip all the way down on your project. It's something you just get used to.
If you're a baker watching this with us, we love to compare gallery glass to cookie decorating. If you've ever seen somebody flooding a cookie with icing, it's very similar to that.
Exactly. That's a great point. And you can see I got a little shaky there at the end, but that's totally fine because these surfaces, as long as your leading's not dry, it actually just wipes right off. So I'm going to keep going for the sake of my, my demo, but it's really kind of fun. I like to practice 1 or 2 times on a smaller project before I get going. The one that I made for my final version today, right here, that's dry. I did this about 2 times this morning, and I just washed it off afterwards. It's really, really simple to start over, and this is so quick that it's not a big deal, to go back over and do it again. And you want it to be right, so it's totally doable with gallery glass. Once you get going, you can do these perfectly every single time. I just haven't gotten there yet.
And Dylan, while you're doing that, Kristen wants to know, are the blanks glass or plastic?
Oh, that's a great question. We haven't really talked about that. So the blanks are plastic. They're an acrylic, a clear acrylic. But we also recommend doing gallery glass on glass, whether it be a piece of glass or your windows at home. Certain plastics, the gallery glass actually does peel off. You can find that information in the Getting Started guide that we were talking about earlier. So there's a particular kind of acrylic that you can make what's called a cling, and you can do all of your leading and your coloring on that piece of plastic and then peel it up perfectly, and it becomes almost like a transparent window sticker. but the surfaces, all the surfaces we sell are acrylic. So they're a little bit safer and easier to work with. And you can see this is just really quite simple. You don't have to mix, you don't have to match the lines perfectly. As long as you get them just so.
Yeah, and we have a lot of great comments and questions in the chat, Dylan. Monica wants to know, how long does it take for the whole project to dry?
That's a good question. So it depends on where you are and what the humidity is and pressure. But generally, I say letting you can do overnight, and then the next morning you can start filling with your color. And then for color, I would say it takes about a day to dry, about 24 hours. But again, you can find all the specifics and all of our recommendations here in the Getting Started guide. Those are great questions.
Yeah, this is, we're talking about gallery glass. It's almost Halloween. Obviously, Dylan is crafting a jack-o'-lantern design, but this is so much fun for the holidays, like Dylan said, to make some clings, seasonal clings, like little snowflakes and jack-o'-lanterns, of course, that you can put on your mirror, on your window. This is a really fun idea for teachers. I know growing up, all my teachers had a lot of fun clings in their windows. It's really fun for stuff like that. It's a really great entry craft to kind of get in the door with gallery glass, are making those really fun clings.
Yeah, and that's the kind of idea that we had behind these patterns. You'll see that a lot of the patterns on platonline.com are kind of simplistic and kind of fun. But when you get into the gallery glass line, we actually offer very professional patterns that are for home decor pieces or for architectural pieces for your windows. So this is a great free way to start out, and then maybe once you get your toes wet, you can get back into our really professional pattern line.
Yeah, and Andy wants to know, does the leading come in any other color than black?
Yeah, so the leading does, we have, I think out right now, you have to help me.
Yeah,
gold?
Silver, gold, and bronze, I believe. Yeah.
If bronze and silver aren't out now, they will be very soon. So those are the new colors. Emma and I actually just worked on a project with those. So those are coming out if they're not out already. But yeah, so we have a lot of great colors that we work with in our gallery glass line. And we did see that, people do love to see different colors of leading other than black. Okay, so you can see the stress of being under the camera over here to the right versus me having some time to redo it this morning. But it really is that simple. So I'm not saying that this is a bad version, but if if it were me, I would wipe this one off. This gave me some really good practice, and then I bet the second time I did it, it would be perfect. We recommend trying this over and over again, and really it only takes you a few times doing a design to kind of get the feel for it. Some people grip the bottle with their full hand, some people use it like they're writing with a pencil. I kind of do a mixture of both. And like I said, I recommend the 8-ounce bottle. It's just nice to have. It's a better feel in your hand. The 2-ounce can be really good if you're doing some touch-ups, or if you're just getting started and you just want a smaller size. Those are great. But if we're talking easiest to use and something for the professional artist, this 8-ounce bottle is the best.
And I just checked on that, Dylan. The silver and the bronze are now available on platonline.com.
Awesome. Okay, so if you go to platonline.com, you can find those different leading colors. And they're the exact same thing. They're the same kind of beautiful consistency, just with that beautiful pigment. And those metallics are really metallic. They're super, super shiny and iridescent. Okay, so now this is the one that we let dry overnight, okay? So this one is completely dry and cured. Now, to color, we're going to need a few more things, and that is going to be our Getting Started tool set. So this is a tool set. It comes with 4 different tools. You get a scoop, a scraper, a cutter, and a combing tool. Okay, so these are all really great tools to do all kinds of different things in gallery glass. You can see we have some recommendations up there, and we show you a little bit more in depth of what each tool does in that Getting Started guide. But the primary tool that you always want to have by your side when you're doing gallery glass is a combing tool. This metal combing tool has been designed to do this part of the process, and we love it. It's one of our favorite tools because nothing can compare to it, and it's really essential to your gallery glass. A lot of times people will just assume that you're just supposed to apply your gallery glass paint and then you're done. But what you actually have to do is make sure that you comb your gallery glass paint so that it looks really nice and even when it dries. If we were to just apply our gallery glass paint to our project and do nothing, it would dry really splotchy. So sometimes that's an effect that people are going for in a window or something to look like an old glass, a weathered glass. But generally, we say we want to make sure that we're combing it.
And no matter how many times I do gallery glass, I always like miss an edge, so that if I don't comb it and it dries, there's a hole in it. So if I were to go ahead and remove my cling, there would be holes in my project, which of course is no good.
Right. So we'll touch on that too. That's a great point, Emma. Okay, so we've got this really great fine tip here on the top of our bottle, and this is great to apply your gallery glass. And what we're going to do is go around the edge first of a section, and then we're going to fill it in. You don't want to fill too much. It's kind of something that you just have to get the feel for. You don't want to fill over your lead lines, so you want to make sure there's enough paint, but not too much that it's flooding it, and then we're going to comb it. So I'm going to show you starting here. We're going to use our pumpkin orange. We're just going to go around the edge. Give yourself a little starter outline. And again, move your project so that it's easier to craft. I think that's something in art, you don't know that you're allowed to do, but it's pretty important. Because ultimately you're going to make a better product if you're comfortable, It's really satisfying. It's really kind of just like coloring in a coloring book. And I've done this, I love the products we have at Plaid, but I don't use a ton of them all the time. This is one of them that I do use from time to time, and I really like using at home. I've done some windows at home, some like carnival kind of colored windows. It's a really great product, and there's nothing else like it on the market. We've seen a lot of people try some of the kind of cheap Amazon paint that's kind of trying to be our paint, and the results are just not comparable. The stuff that I've seen, the way that it's applied, the versatility isn't there. Gallery glass is really a unique product in the marketplace. So I encourage you to get a few bottles. You might think it's a little expensive to kind of get involved, and you have to have these tools, but seriously, it's a small investment that will keep on giving, because these bottles last a really long time. It looks like I'm coloring in a really large section here, but this is not much paint, so just think, like, if you're doing privacy windows in your home, or you want multiple seasons out of these bottles. If you want to do these for Halloween this year and next year, I can pretty much guarantee you can get that out of them.
And, after your project is done, we made a couple of spider web clings a few years ago, and one of our coworkers took them home to put in her home. And, there's great feedback on how to store your finished gallery glass process or projects in our Getting Ready guide or our 101 guide. And for years and years, she's been able to keep those projects, and they look just like new.
Right. It's a really cool product. And if you have any kind of interest in kind of a faux stained glass, I would get on some gallery glass. Okay, so now I'm using my combing tool, and this is really important that we're going around the edges, because what Emma was talking about was little gaps when you hold your finished project up to the light. If you have not combed all the way around your leading, you may be missing some little gaps, and it's just kind of hard to explain. You just have to trust us that it happens, because it looks like, if you're just looking kind of from a distance, you're like, oh, it's filled in, it's fine. But let me show you this. So right here, right under the nose, right there, you can see those little squiggles that haven't met the line of the lead. So if I had left this and not gone over it, we would have big gaps, and it would be very noticeable, at the end of your project.
Yeah, that was a good example, Dylan.
Okay, so once you get the edges, you want to just comb back and forth. And I don't know that there's like a preferred direction. I think it kind of depends on the project you're working on. But I like to go in the same direction. I think combing in one direction is fine. I think we've had the Gallery Glass master, Carol Smith, here before, who helped develop the line. And she never put a big emphasis on doing multiple directions. I think as long as everything's even, you're in a good shape.
And I want to share with you some awesome comments that people are saying, Dylan. Yeah. Jennifer said, I made a rose window cling using gallery glass, just testing the product. I never thought to make holiday themed clings.
Oh yeah, that's cool that you made a rose one, but honestly, these are the only kind of clings I think about,
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing that was a good comment. I want to get back to that. But also, I want to tell you, once you have combed your project, you want to hit the back of your project with your combing tool. This is another one of those weird things that if you don't know how to do gallery glass is going to seem very odd. But what you're doing is getting all the little bubbles out. So sometimes when you're combing, you introduce some bubbles into your gallery glass, and that's totally fine. And to tell you the truth, real stained glass has bubbles. That's what glass does, okay? When it's formed, when you make colored glass, there are bubbles in it. But to mitigate that, you can tap, and you can tap pretty hard, and you get rid of those bubbles so that you have a nice, even, smooth finish with no bubbles, so that when you do come back and your project is dry, you get a really beautiful, even, transparent look. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna, for the orange part, you would just keep on going, filling in your pumpkin. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit for the sake of time, and I'm gonna show you our two different green colors. So I was talking to you earlier about this shimmer color, and this has this beautiful micro fine glitter in it. It's still slightly transparent, but I think we'd say that this one's translucent. So you can see some light through it, but you can't see directly out of it. This one is really pretty because it has that glitter. It's going to give you a shimmering effect once it's in your window. And what everybody has said is it looks like diamonds, you know, from a distance. And what I like to use the shimmers as a part of my design and then go back in and blend with just a regular transparent color.
Fancy.
Yeah, so blending is another part of gallery glass and stained glass that you can do with gallery glass. So I've got two colors there, and not only is my combing tool good to even out my colors, it can help you blend. So we'll get our corners, like I said, it's very important. And then we will start to get all the way around our edges. And then our combing is going to blend these colors together so that when they dry, it's going to look almost like a fused glass look. And then those beautiful glitters.
I'll show the front-facing camera really fast, Dylan, just to show everybody. That pumpkin to the left of Dylan, you can see how those colors are so beautifully blended together. It creates a really unique stained glass look.
Yeah. And here, we'll go back overhead and I'll show you this up close. So, let's see, let's catch the light a little bit. So it looks like we did some clear blended into our orange. So you can see that's kind of more of a two-dimensional effect rather than the center here. You can see, look how pretty that is. You can see the pumpkin underneath.
It's really pretty.
So you can see we've done some dimensional painting. So that kind of makes it look even more 3D. And we've also added these cute little guys. These are just some clear plastic that we have leaded and colored in and then just cut around. This can be anything. This can be a soda bottle. This can be, you know, a folder, a plastic folder, and you can make these little, little freestanding leaves. So then once it's dry, you're ready to hang it. So that's the beauty of these surfaces. We've built in the hanging capability. So if you did the big surfaces, you've got this chain that comes with it. These are great if you want to take it on and off. It just has these simple little clips. And then the smaller surfaces, like we said earlier, have a great little hole in the top that you can not only run, you know, a little decorative element through, but also a little suction cup with a hook on it. And then you'd be ready to put these in your window. And they really are beautiful. You can see everything coming underneath. They're really pretty. Some of the colors that we use, this is one of the autumn colors, I think, that is more of an opaque. We do have opaque colors in the line, so you can see where that color kind of blends in. You can't see as much through it, but it still scatters the light when it's in a window, and it's really beautiful. Okay, so I think that's about it for our lesson today. I want to make sure that you guys visit plaidonline.com/galleryglass. That is where you can find your free getting started guide print this out, keep it with you. If you're crafting and you come up with a problem, use it as a troubleshooting guide. Give it a read before, but I know it's a manual for like putting a piece of furniture together. No matter how many times you tell people, they're just going to come to it after they have a problem, which is totally fine. And that's what we've done. We've built all that in here so that there are videos, there are links. There are links to all of our free designs and patterns. So we've got everything you need right here. And you can do everything from these small projects that are more of a decorative element, or doing your full windows. There's a great way to use our clear, the crystal clear, to make privacy for your windows. Privacy windows, getting them installed into your home can be incredibly time consuming and expensive, but Gallery Glass is a product that many people here at Plaid have used on their personal houses and have had great results for many, many years. Gallery Glass is also kind of a goofy phrase that we have for it, but it's permanent and removable. So when we say that, we mean that these pieces are together forever, okay? This is a permanent paint that is not going to come off the surface. However, if you do it on a glass or that special plastic that Gallery Glass can peel off of, it will come off your surface and leave no residue, leave no markings, and actually it's pretty easy to come off. So if you were to ever make a mistake on your window, or if you were, say, doing your privacy windows at home, and you were going to move and you didn't want to have those privacy windows there for the new buyer, you can just peel it right off. It comes off super easy because at the end of the day, it is this fantastic formula that we've made to be permanent and removable. So it's a really fun, funky product that you can do so many different things with. We've made 3D elements. We've done colored jars with it before. So I encourage you guys to try it out, get some product at home, and start crafting, and let us know what you create.
And just as a reminder, I do want to remind our viewers that the link to our Gallery Glass page is in the description of the video. That's plaidonline.com/galleryglass.
Right. So we're about to be done with this video, but you can also come back to it. It'll be here on our YouTube channel or on our Facebook page, and all these links will still be here, and you'll be able to find all of this information on plaidonline.com. Okay, so until next